Hello and welcome to our What's New in Performance Center 1255 webinar. We are excited and very happy to share with you the new features from our latest version of PC 1255, which was released about a month ago. We appreciate the time you took to join us today, and we hope you'll find this What's New webinar interesting, enriching, and helpful. We are honored to have with us today Vicky Giavelli, Load Runner and Performance Center Product Manager, who will walk you through the Load Runner highlights and Performance Center 1255 new features detailed review. We'll continue with the online Anomaly history and offline views demo by Roy Schaefer from PC R&D. Then we'll demo the new PC administration fully web UI with Hila Levy, our load runner and PC functional architect. We'll finalize our webinar with more details about Performance Center installations and system requirements. We'll review our various customers' programs. And last but not least, we'll have the questions and answers part as the time will allow us. My name is Aliza, and I am a member of the Customer-Oriented Performance Center R&D team in Micro Focus. As probably most of you know, our team is mainly focused on working closely with you, our customers, and we are doing our best to bring your experience, feedbacks, and requests into development process, new features, and plans. We encourage you to listen, watch, and ask questions. Please write your questions in the WebEx chat window, and we will do our best to answer it online or later. Please send your questions to everyone. You are also invited to email us your questions, and it will be answered and published as part of the questions and answers file. The session's recording, slide deck, and the questions and answers file will be available for download next week, and we'll send you the link. In addition, we will share with you the Load Runner 1255 What's New webinar recording. This webinar took place 2 weeks ago. Now we'll start with an introduction and the What's New presentation by our Load Runner and Performance Center Product Manager, Vicky Giavelli. Vicky, the floor is yours.
All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. We are very happy to have you here. As Alisa correctly mentioned, today I will be going over a little bit about the highlights when it comes to the protocols as part of version 1255, and then we will dive into the more exciting features when it comes to Performance Center specifically. So let's get started. On version 1255, for both actually Load Runner and Performance Center, we continue focusing on modernizing the scripting technologies for web and mobile, while we still enhance our support for non-web protocols. On this version, we are entering the IoT world, and we are adding support for MQTT and COAP. There are multiple protocols updates, enhancements, updates when it comes to technology support, for example, operating system and different applications to be supported, as well improve usability, not only around the web scripting, but also the different protocols as I mentioned as well. This version also marked a very important milestone for us as we embrace other scripting solutions, allowing the customers to take advantage of existing assets, mainly a majority used by developers, and I'm talking about JMeter scripts, and we will share more details during the session. We are focused on DevOps features, including enhancements into continuous integration tools, virtualization solutions, third-party open source tools, and also we are providing advanced analysis capabilities in order to facilitate easier detection of anomalies and root cause analysis. Also, I would like to mention for Performance Center, we have made major investments as part of the web administration, which is renovated, with the purpose of providing a single and modern UI. Now I would like to to highlight the value of version 12.55. What are some of the problems that we are solving and how we are approaching this? The first one that I'm going to talk is about reducing scripting time. In today's application development, there is little time for scripting, for automation, and even less time for script maintenance. In order to get critical performance feedback to developers earlier in the development lifecycle, it is very important to automate testing quickly and efficiently with less prep work in each iteration. TrueClient plays a relevant role here since it offers a quick alternative for testing in constrained environments. The users spend less time creating and maintaining the scripts. On this particular version, we are expanding capabilities with the introduction of the coded version of TrueClient, which is very flexible and attractive for developers. We will share details about this later on. And then, of course, the web protocol, which is used by thousands of companies, it is being renovated. New correlation rules as well as a new correlation mechanism, it is introduced in order to help the performance engineer to handle more efficiently dynamic data. The recording summary, which is another feature that we will explore later today, it will provide a general overview of what happened while the recording was being executed, and it will help you to filter non-desired traffic. The next problem that we are solving is the possibility to reuse developer assets and enhancing open source capabilities. As I mentioned, we are embracing the utilization of JMeter scripts. Starting on version 12.55, both Load Runner and Performance Center will allow the users the possibility to execute JMeter scripts. As they are, there is no need to tweak or convert the scripts into Vuegen scripts, and they can be just used as part of our scenarios. Advanced execution, for example, high scalability and also analysis capabilities are provided, of course, as part of this offering with Performance Center. The users can run JMeter scripts in combination of Vuegen scripts. And then, of course, the reusage of these assets will allow the teams to test faster, more frequent, reusing the assets, while, of course, like I mentioned, we are providing deep analysis insights. The next one, I'm going to talk about the acceleration of root cause analysis, which is something that we will dive later in the session with a live demo. Critical applications and tests requires monitoring while the test is being executed. If there are issues, the performance engineer must be able to identify those real time and, of course, suggest accordingly. Performance Center now offers online anomaly detection while the test is being executed. We will have a live demo, and one of our developers will explain in detail how it actually works and what the algorithm that it was developed in order to follow those specific anomalies. Anomalies are going to be reported in real time, which allow the users easier detection of anomalies and, of course, root cause analysis. We have also introduced the story view, which allows the users the possibility to navigate to any specific point in time during the test. And to complete this fantastic story, we also have an online view of the runtime data, which is also provided directly from a PC UI. Again, we will describe this later on. Another important part here with version 12.55 is the fact that we want the users to get the most of your testing ecosystem. So we are integrating with different solutions. Our goal here is just to allow the customers to take advantage of the investment, the knowledge, the process that they already have in place when it comes to the usage of Performance Center. And therefore, it doesn't matter what tool is being used for scripting, if you like to use Vuegen or if you like to use JMeter. For monitoring, for example, if you like to use proprietary solutions by HPE, by Agnostic Sitescope, or if you are embracing other tools like Dynatrace or New Relic, it doesn't matter. You can get and use all of them, and you will get the results consolidated directly on a single UI, in this case, the PC UI. So we will explore later on as well. Another important thing that I would like to mention is the fact that we are adding IoT support. So we have started the journey with MQTT and COAP. MQTT is embedded in Vuegen, and COAP is requires just an additional installation available from the marketplace. Lastly, I would like to discuss a little bit about how we are increasing and helping you to be more efficient when you are managing your infrastructure, your operation. The new Performance Center Web Administration UI consolidates the most popular and recurrent activities related to the PC admin for lab resources and systems, and we will have a live demo showing how actually looks and works. This PC web admin now works on different browsers. The performance is significantly better than the ALM lab management. We also have now the possibilities to deploy and use Docker load generators, and we will describe this later on. So let's explore these details. So what I'm showing right now, these are the key updates when it comes to Performance Center, and we will go over them. I would like to mention we are rebranding 1255. It's actually our HPE rebranded version, not only in the product, but you will also find changes when it comes to the documentation. No more HP, and now everything should be HPE. During today's session, we will explore about the PC administration, anomaly detection, APM integration. We will go over the JMeter integration, enhancement when it comes to the REST API, Docker load generators, and also some enhancement requests from our customers. So let's explore. As I said, we are going to talk about the highlights for the protocol. So I have chosen some of them. There are many, so please, if you like to learn more, refer to the online help, the README, which has all the release notes. When it comes to the web protocol, we are going to explore the recording summary, which is what I'm presenting right now. When you record your application, unwanted information is often included in the script, such as Google statistics, for example, and third-party information. Using recording summary report enables the customer to make decisions about which parts of the recording to include. They are going to be included in the script, and which specific parts we require to be filtered. The recording summary provides a single summary of the recording data for the web protocol and enables, like I said, to manage traffic filtering. The report displays general information about the recording session, like we are seeing right now, SSL settings, hosts, headers, and so on, and enables filtering and also provides other capabilities such as drill down to hosts, headers, content type, and other recording information. Another important area that we are improving when it comes to the web protocol are the correlation rules. The correlation rules are now updated, and we also include new ones. So those that are not updated or not relevant anymore, they are going to be removed. However, if by any particular reason users are still using it, we will be able to provide those on demand as well. Vugen includes a new correlation API, the attribute-based correlation, ABC, enabling dynamic value extraction from HTML documents. Basically, we also provide the ability to search and apply correlations in HTTP headers. The users also can see the web transactions directly in Dynatrace UI by just enabling those directly from Vugen. So we just have added support for Dynatrace application performance monitoring. With new runtime settings, enable the customers the possibility to generate the Dynatrace header for Dynatrace monitoring, very simple way in Vugen, and then of course you will get all the information directly in Dynatrace UI or consolidated in the Performance Center, which is the other option that we will explore later. So other features that I would like to mention when it comes to the web protocol, because of course time constraints, so I will just mention a couple of them. Like I said, we have a new correlation algorithm, ABC, attribute-based correlation, specifically designed for HTML content. It provides a very easy and a natural way to extract HTML content. It has been added to the Correlation Studio and correlation rules, so it is ready to be used. We added support for GWT 2.7. We also completed different implementations that we started in the previous version, especially for HTTP 2. So it has been tested across many environments and applications, and we also support NV right now. multiple security improvements, enhancements for data format extension and error messaging and troubleshooting. And like I said, the complete list is available as part of the release notes. These are just some of them, just to give you a little bit of the taste. Other area that I would like to explore when it comes to the protocols is going to be through client. On every release, the True Client team focused on three main areas. The first one is investigate on how we can reduce the footprint and better utilize the resources. The second one, it will be keep True Client updated by supporting the latest browsers and general enhancements. For example, in this version, we do support Chrome version 55, and before it was just 46. And then performance improvements, which is what I'm showing right now. So before optimization is what the users can expect before 1255 and 1253. And then after optimization is in 1255. So as you guys can see, there is significant improvements over there. The native mobile is not a new feature. However, it has been enhanced. This protocol allows True Client to connect to mobile center and through that to connect to mobile device, so the users can record and replay scripts on those mobile devices. Some of the most important features as part of 1255 that I would like to mention, and you guys can see here, it will be enhanced hybrid application support, native apps that use the web UI to show web content, support for multiple apps. Previously it was just one, so now we support even more complex flows. The configuration wizard, which is provided by MC, where you can actually select multiple devices, is also now supported directly with this protocol. More accurate transaction response time, and of course improvements when it comes to the heuristic, which is the way on how True Clients identify the objects. And also touch gestures, which is of course extremely useful for mobile testing. At the beginning of the call, I mentioned about coded True Client, which is something that we have just added as part of version 1255. It's going to be released as a tech review, and mainly because we wanted to get feedback from our users. So this is what you guys are seeing right now, is the coded version of True Client. So now basically you can convert True Client actions or the object, which is what we are seeing on the left, into code, which is what we are seeing on the right. This basically enables the user to take advantage of the fast scripting development in True Client when you create the script, but also you can enhance your script using code. This particular requirement came from customers that it would like to have more like a hands-on approach, specifically for object identification, and also to add complex logic. So this is available, like I said, as a tech review. I mentioned it, we started the journey and we added support for IoT protocols. So we added support for MQTT, message queue, telemetry, transport. It is designed for machine-to-machine and Internet of Things communication. It is based on a TCP base. So we are providing the scripting capabilities. This is an example directly from Vuegen. So it is embedded with Vuegen. So we don't have basically, recording per se. So it's more like a scripting and replay solution. But everything is available directly in Vuegen. And then you, of course, can execute those particular scripts in Performance Center, which is the session that we are having today. Then we also have new MQTT monitors and graphs that, of course, will enable the monitoring and analysis of MQTT message flow and throughput between the MQTT broker and the client during the load test run. We also have another protocol, COAP, which is available to download as an add-on as part directly from the marketplace. So at the beginning of the call, I also mentioned it, you guys will see a lot of enhancement when it comes to web and mobile. However, one of the things that make us different is the fact that we do support different protocols. So I would like to just to provide a little bit of the enhancements when it comes to the desktop protocols. So for PC over IP, as you guys recall, we started the journey in version 1253 when we added support for the Teradici client, and now we added support for VMware Horizon View. In addition to Teradici, network virtualization support is also added. When it comes to Citrix, not only support for the latest and greatest Citrix versions out there, but also are also included API enhancements oriented to make the scripting more efficient. Java, we improved support on Java 8 and also added support for new operating systems. Now all the Java protocols support Java 8 for the record and replay, and we bring back the debugging capabilities in Vuegen. For database protocols, basically we do support all database used via JDBC interface. So whenever you are talking about Progress, MySQL, Oracle, so those are going to be supported as well. Once again, the full list of enhancements per protocol is available as part of the README online help. All right, so now let's get started actually with the highlights of Performance Center version 12.55. We will start with the analysis, and I will cover a little bit about the anomaly detection feature. Once again, the screenshots are not fair, so that's why we will have one of our developers, Roy, we will explain on a live demo. So basically, with the online anomaly detection, the users now can use this particular feature in Performance Center to quickly and more efficient identify abnormal application behavior as part of the performance test. How actually it works? Automatic anomaly detection, we have developed a proprietary algorithm. So basically, we will create a list that defines the area where the measurements should be. If there is a deviation from a significant amount of time, then it will be shown as an anomaly. After a few seconds of the behavior, then the sleep is going to adjust because it will catch up. We will explore the details later. So all of this is, of course, while the test is being executed. So you can actually pinpoint faster and you can identify those particular problems while the test is still being executed. While some of the users actually would like and actually they can sit and enjoy the load test, we know other users are not going to do this, and that's why we also would like to introduce the possibility to go back in time to a specific point while the test is being executed just to check. Let's say this test has been running for 3 hours and anomalies are being flagged. So what will happen if I want to go back to the first hour when the test was being executed? So now we are allowing the possibility to rewind in time so you can actually see what happened at that particular first hour when the test was executed. And then, of course, you can go forward until when the test is actually being executed. So we have capabilities while the test is being executed, and also we allow the possibility to go back in time. Now, to complement the story, we also have offline view of run data. This is again released as a tech review, mainly because we wanted to get feedback from our users in terms of how they would like us to storage the information. After the test is being executed, then the users will have access to this information. We have introduced a new offline screen. Think of this online screen just as a lightweight of the analysis, a version of the analysis, where there is no need to collate or analyze. There is no need to use the analysis tool. Since it's based on the online data, so you will have all the online capabilities such as merge graphs available just to display. We have a blog post that was published, I think, 2 weeks ago, explaining all this process. And again, we will have a live demo later on the session. When it comes to NV Insights, we have started working very closely with NV as a very important part of performance testing. So as you guys probably are aware, this is a comprehensive network analysis report that provides information about how your application performs over different types of networks and virtual locations via network evaluation. For this particular version, 12.55, we have added client-side information for the client scripts, since we have the possibility to collect the client measurements like resource, size, loading time, etc. So all of this is provided directly on NV Insights report. One of the things that I'm mentioning is like Performance Center now is being more friendly. While we, of course, continue integrating with our proprietary HP solutions when it comes to monitoring, we are also expanding our integration capabilities, and now we integrate with Dynatrace. You can monitor having a new type for monitor, in this case, Dynatrace. It's very easy. You just need to define the monitor by adding the Dynatrace server address and then the credentials. Once the server is connected, you will get the list of all measurements available, and you will be able to select the required measurements, dashboards and dashlets, and then you will attach this monitor to your load test. The next step is just to select the measurements information, and then it's going to be displayed on Performance Center Online screen for that particular running test. And then, of course, all the results can be seen and combined in the analysis reports. We have also added an integration for New Relic. This is only available for Performance Center. Again, it's pretty straightforward, the process. You just have to define the monitor. You just need to add the SaaS application key. Once it is connected, then you will get the set of measurements that are available, and then you can just go ahead and add it, and you are ready to enjoy those as part of the particular test. And of course, it can be viewed again as part of the analysis. We are making a lot of investments when it comes to DevOps. So I will start with the JMeter integration. Basically, our motivation here is to use Performance Center, like I said, as one entry point for executing a performance test, regardless if you like to use our proprietary solution or if you like to use JMeter. We also want to stay relevant with the open source community that are already using JMeter, and for whatever reasons, they just prefer to use this particular scripting solution. We have added 4 dedicated graphs for JMeters: active threads, hits per second, throughput, transactions. And then, of course, in the analysis, you can review the graph and use advanced features from the analysis, such as granularity. I would like to mention this is, of course, like I mentioned it earlier, released as a beta. We want to get feedback from our customers. First implementation, version 12.55, we are not charging for it. So there is no limitation when it comes to the amount of virtual users that you can execute or the time that the license is going to be activated. The REST API, Performance Center has a very mature and rich REST API. We have increased the support for the REST API, like I said, and we added, in this case, specific ones when it comes to CI and also to Performance Center administration. So here we are just mentioning a couple of them. So we added support for defining service level agreement, diagnostics integrations, analysis templates ID, the possibility to delete a test run, getting all the trend reports, setting trend baseline ID, using a command line, and there are many more. Also, I would like to mention, we also have this documented as part of the online help. So here we are just looking at the support that we have added when it comes to the Performance Center Administration API, which includes how do we manage the posts, the pools, the projects, the license, and also getting room data. Jenkins plugin, again, very mature. Many customers are using it with great success. We have now added support for the latest version of the Jenkins ADM plugin, 5.2. Some of the features that we are going to discover that are only available for Performance Center is we added HTTPS support. We support Jenkins behind proxy server. Automatically, you can find and create the test instance ID. Also, trending support. Trending reports chart is now built in Jenkins. So instead of getting the PDF report, then you will get the HTML report as well. Another important feature as part of the Jenkins integration, the Jenkins plugin, is the Octane integration, which is now available directly from Performance Center. More information, of course, can be found as part of the online help. Another way to complement the DevOps story to continuous testing and so on, and actually today we have released a blog post about this particular feature where you guys can find additional information. Automatically, the automatic trending allows the possibility to automatically publish trends reports without having to manually run or analyze or publish process, which of course is more efficient, fits perfectly on agile environments, and also saves time and efforts when it comes to this particular implementation. The hybrid lab. So we are very proud to be able to manage a hybrid lab. And one of the things that we are added in version 12.55 is Docker load generators. This is something that it was available for load runner, and now we are also having it as part of Performance Center. Basically, now we do support deployed and running load generators on Linux Docker. Using this particular load generators enables you to automate the testing process by creating load generators on demand and simply just add them to the performance testing using the REST API. So this is the first implementation. For now, it will require some manual work via REST API, but moving forward, like I said, we want to be able to manage all this directly from PC UI in the same way as you manage right now your host and your cloud generators as well. The host installation, this is actually something that we start in version 12.53 patch 4. And I like to mention it because it goes hand by hand with the next feature that I will describe. It actually helps the users to consume and to install faster and more frequent and, of course, easy the patches that we are going to be releasing on every 3 to 6 months. The feature that I would like to discover is the install patch. Again, it's not new, but in this particular version has been enhanced. It's identical of what ALM has on a PC admin site. It's pretty straightforward. We just have to select the patch, add the name, the description, all of the patch, and then select the host where do we want to install the patches. Then install the patch. If by any chance it will fail, then it will give you the results, so you can also track the progress. And if it fails, then you will get the message, and then allows the possibility to reinstall. So this is pretty useful, and I'm sure it will allow the customers to save time when it comes to the patch installation. For modernization, and this is also something that we will going to have a live demo. We now have a web, new and modern web-based administration. It's a modern replacement for the lab management. No more ActiveX or SAP.NET. One single place for the PCE admin. We have moved Performance Center administrator tasks previously that were only performed in lab management to this new web administration user interface to enhance and simplify the experience when it comes to configure lab resources and systems. We also have advanced reporting capabilities. This particular web-based admin runs on different browsers, and the performance is so much better than the ALM client. We will have a live demo to explore this particular feature in detail as well. I would like to mention that Performance Center Help is now a standalone help center. Before, users will have to navigate between ALM to get system requirements or information about database, for example, and then load runner when they wanted to get details about protocol support. So now we have everything consolidated for Performance Center, which is very easy and convenient. You can access all the documentation online from any browser. It's even mobile friendly. The search engine is quite accurate, so feel free to just type whatever you guys desire, and the results are gonna be available. You can also navigate between previous version and the new version, which is also very convenient. You can share the results. There is no need to be or to have active SID or SSO account, so just it's ready there to be used. One important change that I like to mention is that we now have a single document that consolidates the system requirements, the supported environments, and the product availability matrix in just to, like I said, a single document, so that can be found as part of the online help PDF content. And your feedback is extremely important for us. So we always appreciate it and try to satisfy those needs that will help you to complete your daily task in more efficient way. So we want to make the life of the Performance Center administrator and the performance engineer more easier. So here is a list of some of the ERs that were addressed as part of 1255. Once again, we appreciate your feedback, and everything that you provide us helps us to shape and enhance our solutions. So if you have particular enhancements that you would like to bring to my attention, please post it on the chat. We appreciate the feedback. So now I would like to introduce you to Roy from Performance Center R&D. He is going to walk us through a demo covering the online analysis feature, including the new capabilities like I briefly mentioned, anomaly detection, historic view, and offline view. Please enjoy. Like I said, the screenshots are not fair to this new feature, and seeing in action is really amazing. Thanks for listening, and let's continue.
Thank you, Vicky, and let's dive into the demos. Both demos were recorded ahead to ensure the proper focus on the new functionality and practical application of the new features. We'll start with the online anomaly, history, and offline views demo by Roy Sheffer from PC R&D.
Hi everyone, my name is Roy, and I'm a member of the Performance Center application team. In this session, I'll present the latest features of the online screen that were added in version 1255 of Performance Center. The first feature is automatic anomaly detection. But before we get into the feature, we have to define what an anomaly is. One definition is something that deviates from what is standard, normal, or expected. But how do we apply that definition to the measurements in the online screen? Our solution was to perform a weighted statistical analysis of each measurement. This analysis produces a sleeve which defines the expected behavior of a measurement. And then, for each new point, we check if it is inside the sleeve, and we update our sleeve. The image here shows an example of what such a sleeve would look like. But now that we have the expected behavior of a measurement, we still have to decide what constitutes an anomaly. For example, is the deviation of a single point from the sleeve enough to be considered an anomaly? After several tests, we decided that the deviation of a single point should not be considered an anomaly, simply because it is far too frequent. Here, though, we can see another example. This image was taken from the CPU utilization graph, where we can see that the CPU was around 0 to 15 quite consistently for the first part of this chart. We can see slight deviations, but they aren't considered significant enough, until a sharp spike that raises the CPU to 50% and above. Now when we see the two cases together, the slight short deviations versus the sharp spike, we can clearly see that one is an anomaly and the others are not. Let's see a live demo of that. Okay, so we're running a test now, and we can see the online screen. For the purposes of this demo, we'll focus on the CPU utilization graph. This graph has two measurements. The first belongs to the CPU of the controller, and the second to the CPU of the load generator. Let's focus on the load generator. Now we can see the sleeve that was discussed earlier by clicking Show Anomaly Sleeve in this menu. And we can also toggle the sleeve by clicking on the measurement inside the graph and click again to show it. So again, as we saw in the slides, here we see the sleeve, we see slight deviations. These deviations are not considered anomalies. So let's create our own anomaly. Here we have the virtual machine on which the load generator is installed. We can see that the CPU is pretty low now, single digits, so let's make it work hard. Here we have a script that's going to make the CPU work hard. We can see that the CPU spiked now to over 40. Let's run it again. And now the CPU is very high. If we go back to Performance Center, we should be able to see that the measurement is already spiking. And here we can see it. Now the measurement has significantly deviated from the sleeve. When the deviation has occurred for enough points, the system will alert of an anomaly. The anomaly will be marked by this icon next to the graph name in the graph box and in the graph tree. We'll also be able to see exactly which measurements had anomalies by the icon here or by using this filter. Now, after some time, the sleeve will adjust itself to the new state. In other words, it will catch up to the measurement, and the anomaly will be concluded. And here we see that the sleeve has adjusted itself to the new state. Now we can go to the load generator and stop these scripts, and the CPU will go back down. Now let's go back to the slides. Now this might be helpful if the user is looking at the online screen as the anomaly occurs. But let's suppose that a user runs a very long test, and then after a couple of hours comes back to check on the test and sees many icons that indicate anomalies. Now in order to see the anomaly, the user would have to use the whole load test granularity. But in this granularity, the level of detail is very low, and a 30-second spike might not even be noticeable. This brings us to our second feature, the history view. This view was created in order to allow the user to fully benefit from the anomaly detection feature. The view allows the user to inspect data of any time range during the test. This is much more powerful than our current granularity settings in 1253. To open the history view, click on the options icon of any graph and select history. The view is quite similar to the existing one. We can see that it shares the same legend. The only difference is that now there are two charts. We call the bottom one the control, and it allows us to select the time range. The chart at the top displays the selected time range. You can change the time range in several ways, which I'll be showing you shortly in another demo. But before that, just a couple of notes. First of all, the highest granularity of the data is 3 minutes. You can select an area that is smaller than 3 minutes, but this will only result in fewer points displayed and not in a higher granularity. Second note is that the granularity of the control is always at the level of the whole load test. So let's see a demo. Okay, and we're back in the online screen, and we can see that some time has passed, and the anomaly is no longer in view. However, we can see the anomaly icon, both in the graph box and in this specific measurement, that indicate that an anomaly had occurred in the past. So let's go to the history view. So here we can see the history view, and we can quickly locate exactly where the anomalies occurred. The anomalies are marked by these plot bands over here, both in the chart and in the control. So let's see how we change the range selection. First method is by dragging it. We can drag it like this. And we can see that two anomalies occurred in this area. This anomaly was the anomaly that we created in the previous demo, where we spiked the CPU to nearly 100%. We can also change the range selection by moving with the borders. This changes the granularity, whereas dragging maintains the same granularity. And we can mark a new area. For example, we can see that an anomaly occurred about 15 minutes after the test began. We can mark this area and focus on the anomaly. We can see here a similar situation to what we demoed. Basically, the CPU was very low until a sharp spike. The system recognized this and marked it as an anomaly. Notice that the CPU utilization is not necessarily the most interesting graph for anomaly detection, but it's just simple for the purposes of this demo. And the last method for changing the selection range is by clicking on one of these plot bands. This focuses us on the anomaly. Now it's worth noting that the history view was created with the anomaly detection feature in mind. However, it is a useful feature in its own right. Even if you're not interested in our automatic anomaly detection, you can still benefit from the history view. This is because it provides something much stronger than the current granularity settings. For example, as we saw in the demo, we could focus with a granularity of 3 minutes, but at any point of the test. With the existing settings, if the user chooses 3 minutes, they can only see the last 3 minutes of the test. But now, the user will be able to see the first 3 minutes or any 3 minutes throughout the duration of the test. In order to allow the user to view any time range of any measurement, it was necessary to create a new database. This database is created at the start of a run and is filled with data points throughout the duration of a run. But now that we have such a database, what else can we do with it? This brings us to our third and final feature, the offline screen. This screen allows you to view the graphs of runs that have already finished. I'll go over the part that it contains in the next demo. Just a few more points. The graphs only appear in the history view. The runtime view is not available in the offline screen. All the actions that can be performed on the graphs in the online screen can also be performed in the offline, and any merged graphs or settings are saved for the offline screen. Also, the offline screen is still considered a technical preview. You can access the offline screen from 3 locations. The first is in the home page. The finished column now contains links to the offline results. The second is in the dialog that appears when a test is finished. And the third is from the run screen. Let's see another demo. So we're back in the online screen, and we see that our test is still running. Let's stop the current run. And here we can see the dialog that allows us to open the offline screen. And now we're in the offline screen of the run that we just stopped. We can see that the offline screen is quite similar to the online screen, with a few changes. There's a summary panel at the top, giving general information. For example, this test ran for just over 2 hours, when we started it, when we ended it, and other such information. At the bottom, we see the graphs and the graph tree. This is just like in the online screen. The major difference is this global control over here, which allows you to change the range of all of the visible graphs. We added this because in the offline screen, all graphs are automatically in the history view. Let's focus on the beginning of the test. And now all the graphs have changed their time range. We can also see that the graphs that we focused on when the test is finished are the same ones that are available by default. And the measurements that were visible are visible in the offline as well. And here we see a merge graph that was created during the run. We can create more merge graphs in the offline screen or use existing ones. The combination of merge graphs and the offline screen is especially useful since it provides a sort of lightweight analysis that doesn't require the user to collate or analyze. Now I should mention that the database was created to enable the history view and the offline screen. It can take quite a bit of space. Especially if the work contains many measurements and had long durations. For this reason, we have a process that is responsible for removing these databases in order to avoid disk space issues. The process occurs daily and takes 2 factors into consideration. First is the last modification date. This is when the database is created and is updated every time the offline screen of a specific run is opened. The second factor is the size limitation placed on the folder that contains these databases. The default limitation is 10 gigabytes, but both of these factors can be modified in the Performance Center administration site. So that's the end of this session. Thank you very much for listening.
Ok, me quedé aquí con el cuchillo. Pues el frío para el otro lado. Me estaba tan nerviosa y la
Sorry, I would like to ask you to mute your phones since we cannot hear the webinar. Thank you. So thanks to Roy, and we'll continue with the new PC administration web interface demo by Hila Levy, our load runner and PC functional architect.
Hello everybody. Let's take a look at what's new in 12.55 Web Administration. So in the previous release, we've already added Performance Center Administration link to the main ALM screen. You can also access it directly by typing the Performance Center URL/admin. In 12.53, we only had the report section, including some new reports such as the protocol granularity. And now we've added more of the lab functionality screens. Note that not all of the views were added. We will complete them in the coming releases. So today we are going to focus on the enhanced functionality developed in those new web views we have released. The host view is divided into tabs with all related host resources. We can now see the host settings button, which is now in the view level. It contains the controller and data processor settings. In addition, we have added offline settings to determine when to purge the offline results file saved on the controller. We've added new filtering capabilities. We can see all the filterable columns. Note that columns that are not visible will not appear here. We can filter by each visible column. We've also added the ability to filter according to attributes, which is new. We can now see the tags of the filter measurements, and we can just clear it from here. In addition, we can edit the status of the host straight from the grid just by clicking on the field and editing the value from the drop-down, and it refreshes to the new value. Drilling down the host gives us the full details of the host, and we can also search host attributes very easily from here. In the pools view, we can see, of course, the entire list of pools. If we're expanding, we see all the related hosts. Drilling down on the pool, we see more details. From here, we can assign new hosts to pools and view all the related projects. Let's take a quick look at the new improved install patch mechanism. I'm choosing which host I want to install. The install patch shows me the entire list of uploaded patches, and I'm choosing one. I have a new task manager, which I can see all the tasks, which ones are running. The one who's failed, I can also see it here with a detailed message. I can filter to see only the running, for example. This task manager always stays open, even if I switch between views. Once the install is complete, I can see the history in the patch level, the history of each installment. And for each host, we've also added the version column to see the version of each host. In the project level, we've added a column called Last Run, which can hint us if a project is active or not. Also, when we drill down, we've added a new feature called Post-Run Action, which basically the admin can enforce post-run actions for all the runs per project. This is an enhancement request we got from several customers. In the runs view, we can filter according to statuses, of course, as we've seen before. For the running, we can do the same actions, such as view the run or stop the run from here. The time slots view, we have a better UI and usability. You can see on the right pane, we see all the details. We don't have to switch between tabs. For the system help, we also have a new UI. Here, of course, we can choose on which host we want to run the system help. You will see that we can only choose idle hosts to refrain from wrong results of running hosts. This is also a request we got from customers. Once we are running it, we see that all the information on separate tabs for ALM, for PC server, and the host, and we can see the progress of each task on the tab level. PC servers, same as before, just note that the entire initial configuration between ALM and PC server, you will still need to have to go through the ALM lab to do the first connection. In the licensing view, I can see a summary at the top. At the bottom, the licensing types are divided to two tables, if it's PC licenses or host licenses. If I expand each license, I can see the full details. Overall, much more usability. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Hila. And we'll move back to our presentation to the system requirements and installation details. You can find here the supported operating systems for all server types, supported DB servers and browsers. And here you can find the download path for all Performance Center components, including the PC1255 hotfix package. Let's summarize. These are the main new features that we've reviewed today, and there are more. You are warmly invited to visit the Help Center of 1255, read our blogs, get familiar with what's new in Performance Center 1255, and install the new release. Before we finish, let me go over some of the programs where you can work with us during the different stages of the product release lifecycle. So we have the Design Partners program running on early stage of development for review and feedback on the new features. We have the Beta program, which we run about 3 to 4 months before each release. It gives you the opportunity to be exposed to the coming release on its early stage. And for us, that's a great experience of testing and collecting your feedback for the new version on your environment. And the Early Adopters program, we have, after each release, we implement the new version with several customers for feedback and future release requests. We believe that's a great opportunity for both you and us to enhance our product functionality, usability, and quality by implementing your feedback. We'd like to thank all the customers that are taking an active part in our programs, and we encourage you all to join. If you would like to participate, please send us an email to plv_cost@microfocus.com. We'd also like to share with you our next webinars. So the next webinar, the first one, will be the web protocol, in-depth webinar on the web HTTP HTML protocol. This will be a 3-session series where we will be exploring the most commonly used protocol. The first session is set to October 3rd. And we'll have a series of 3 Performance Center detailed webinars for Trending and Jenkins plugins.